Hey friends, welcome back to our channel. I'm Lynn Allure. If you are new here, hi, hello, welcome. On this channel, we talk a lot about personal development and personal finances. So if you enjoy conversations like that, definitely subscribe and join the party. Hey. So today, if you read the title of the video, then you know what I'm going to be talking to you about: my latest investment property. I bought myself a home for my birthday, and I want to tell you guys all the deets on that. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have caught my post from last year when I had bought myself a pre-construction home for my birthday, and I made a little joke saying I might make this a habit and purchase a home every single year, and that's exactly what I did this year. Kind of crazy. I was kind of joking when I said it, maybe like lightweight manifesting and putting it out in the universe that like that's what we were about to do, but I was kind of joking with it, you know, kind of sprinkling a little jokey joke on it. And then this year, my birthday was on August 28th, and I closed on this property on August 25th. So yeah, an early birthday gift for myself was a home once again. The only difference this time around is that I bought a resale property instead of putting money down on a pre-construction home. So how that came about was last year for my champagne birthday, I was going to throw myself like a huge birthday bash and invite like a ton of friends and acquaintances, family, etc., and just do like a huge birthday party. But the planning process was driving me nuts. I don't really love big parties when I'm the center of attention. I don't know, maybe it's a Virgo thing. I don't know, not my thing. Spoke to a friend of mine who I really respect, and he was kind of like, I've been there before, because shout out to having friends who are older than you and wiser than you know what I mean? Come through with the wisdom. We appreciate you. We're thankful for all of you if you're a friend like that. But anyways, essentially, he kind of dropped this idea that maybe instead of spending all that money on a party, just focus on what it is you've been enjoying for the last year or so and just do something to honor that. And I thought, you know what, building wealth, growing my business, building my investment portfolio has been a pleasure of mine, a privilege of mine, and it's something that truly excites me because I love the idea of creating generational wealth and creating wealth for myself. Okay, I'm still in my 20s, but baby, I'm telling you, in my 50s, baby, we gonna be sitting on money, honey. Like it's not gonna be working every day nonstop because I have to. If I'm working every day nonstop in my 50s, it's because I want to. At least that's the goal. So I thought, you know what, building my investment portfolio and growing my wealth has been something that is actually very fun for me. I'm super passionate about it. So instead of spending thousands of dollars on a party to rendezvous with people I kind of speak to maybe once a year, I thought, let me just do a small dinner with some friends and spend some money on a home. So I did, and now fast forward a year from then, I bought another property, which is the one I'm actually in right now. And I've actually been wanting to film a video regarding my investing journey for quite some time now. And I kind of never did because I didn't feel like enough of an expert. But I recognize now that where I'm at, I'm not like a real estate mogul. I've still got so much growth to go. Like I said, I'm still in my 20s. I'm still growing. I'm still building, and I've got so much more to learn. But I do understand that my experiences thus far could be insightful and helpful to somebody else. So that's what I plan on doing with this real estate, I guess, series, or not a series. Let me not put that title on it. But with these kind of videos talking about my real estate investing journey, because it's actually so much that goes into it. I bought my first house when I was 25, but realistically, I had been trying since I was about 23, and it just wasn't working. I had about 2 years of defeat and unfulfilled hope. The problem wasn't that I didn't have the money per se. I did have the down payment, and I could even afford my mortgage payments, but I just wasn't a great candidate on paper for a mortgage. And so I just remember it being such a turbulent journey. The day we went to go sign my mortgage, I was with my mom, and we walked out of the mortgage broker's office, and I remember just bawling on my mom. I was so grateful that she was willing to help me. She was willing to co-sign for me, put her name on the line for me, because I had been trying for so long and it wasn't working. I was just so grateful, and I was overwhelmed with emotion the day that we went to go sign all the documents. And I just remember I remember bawling uncontrollably, like the type of crying you're trying to keep it cute and keep it in. It wasn't working. Tears, boogers, everything. It was bad. that. But I'm so grateful for it because it led me to my first property. It led me to where I'm at currently with a 7-figure investment portfolio. So yes, moving forward, I'm hoping to share more of my investment journey, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, and everything that goes into it. And hopefully it sparks some insight, some inspo, some education, some motivation, all the good things, all the good things. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys why I decided to buy another property, especially in this market, especially in Toronto, where it is more expensive to own than it is to rent here. I'm going to share with you some of the other homes I was looking at and why I didn't go with them. And then thirdly, I'm going to share with you guys my actual investment property that I currently live in right now. And the plan here is to live in it for some time and then lease it out to tenants. But we'll get all up into that. I'm hoping this video isn't ridiculously long, but I can also talk my face off when it comes to real estate. I thought, let me separate 2 videos. Stay tuned for the next video when I go into depth on how much it actually costs to purchase this home. Everyone talks about the price of a house and even sometimes the down payment, but there's so many other things that go into it. I bought the home for $675,000, but the down payment was separate from the closing costs, was separate from the cost of the mortgage, lawyer fees, land transfer taxes, and then opportunity cost as well. Because like I said, it is more expensive to buy in Toronto than it is to rent. And that's not the case in a lot of other metropolitan cities. For example, Miami or Dallas, it's way cheaper to buy your home and live in it than it is to rent. But Toronto is actually the reverse, and it is more expensive to own than it is to rent. But we're going to talk about why it is still better in the long haul to own something. And in order to get into that, let's start off with why I bought another home in this market. So in November of last year, I actually left Toronto, and I spoke all about why I left in a video. I'll probably leave it up here. But essentially, I ended up giving up my dream apartment, the apartment of my dreams, my hopes, my desires. So much transformation happened in that place, but essentially I had no desire to be in Toronto at that time. So I ended up getting rid of the home, but then 9 months later, I came back and the rental market was absolutely bonkers. I had never seen it like this before, but then again, I'd never really been eyeballing the rental market, but just from everything that I had been reading or seeing, like I've never seen something like that. When I'm telling you it was crazy, there were bidding wars on rental properties. That does not happen in Toronto like that. Like realtors were holding offer dates for rental properties. Basically, offer dates are when realtors hold out on taking any offers so that it gives everybody an opportunity to bid. And a lot of rental properties were going over asking. It was bonkers. On top of it being super inflated, I'm talking a property that would have costed you $3,200 a month to live in November of 2021 was now costing $3,700. So it's a $500 increase. I couldn't bring myself to go through the bidding wars and the super invasive questioning and the very entitled, and I don't know, it wasn't a good feeling to rent in the market that I came back in. And so renting was kind of off the table for me. It just seemed a little strange. It didn't sit well with my spirits. Okay. So, that was interesting. So I actually ended up securing the exact same place that I lived in, but just like maybe 3 floors higher for $500 more. But I didn't end up moving into it because I bought this one. Essentially, the reason for the spike in the rental market was because the interest rate had spiked up overnight. So a lot of people's affordability to purchase something went down. A lot of people who had variable mortgage rates had to increase the price that they were charging for rent in order to offset the cost of their mortgage. Another thing is that Toronto had finally opened up, and so it was back to normal, and a lot of people who had left because of the C word, the vid, had finally come back and they needed somewhere to stay. So yes, rental market was super competitive. I did not want to compete okay? I don't compete. It's not in my spirit to compete. I don't do it. So I just decided, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to buy. And I know the market right now is probably not the best time in all of history to purchase a home because, as I mentioned, interest rates have gone up. But the thing about mortgage rates versus mortgage price is that you're able to renegotiate the rate of your mortgage, but you cannot renegotiate the price of your home. In a year from now, I'll be able to renegotiate my interest rate, but I can never, ever renegotiate the principal amount that I purchased this home for. This home was actually listed for $690,000 and I was able to get it for $15,000 off at $675,000, whereas just a few months ago, the market was hectic for purchasing. At the top of the year, homes were going for $200,000, $300,000 over asking. A lot of people who purchased at that time, at the beginning of the year, January, February, March, were not able to close on their property and ended up forfeiting their earnest money. And that's kind of what happened in my situation. Somebody had tried to purchase this home, was not able to close, and so the owners had to relist the property again because the market was not the same as it was a few months ago, and because interest rates are up and it's less competitive to purchase a home right now. I was able to get it for $15,000 off. The same property that I'm on right now, about 20 floors down, has sold for $30,000 more than what I purchased it for about 4 months ago. So already we're kind of in a good situation here. There are so many other reasons why I purchased another investment property, but I think the main one for why I bought right here in Toronto, where it's super expensive to purchase, is because I didn't want to get squeezed out of the market. I kind of feel like Toronto is a mini New York, and a lot of the things that we have seen happening with New York, we're starting to see happen in Toronto. And I know that in New York specifically, or a lot of metropolitan cities, not just New York, a lot of people who are from the city can't afford to purchase in a place that they call home. A place where I was born, I've been raised here, I went to school here, and I've lived here for a majority of my life. I want to be able to own something and come back to at any time. Yes, I own the home in Stony Creek, but as a woman who lives on her own, I have literally no desire to live in a single family home in the middle of the suburbs by myself. And if I lived in a family home, I'd be okay with living in the suburbs. But as the yuppie that I am, I love the neighborhood that I'm in. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. This is my dream home, my dream building, my dream neighborhood, and I'm so grateful to live here and own something here. And so I wanted to buy something now when I have the opportunity and not wait until the future when I get squeezed out of the market and the affordability is just not there for me. And yes, there are some talks about a real estate correction about to happen, and with another interest rate spike expected to happen later on this year, home prices may decrease some because there will be less demand, and so it'll be less competitive. For me, when it comes to real estate investing, the name of the game is long haul. And if you plan to buy and hold for 5 years plus, it ends up being so much more worth it because our equity really increases in Toronto a lot faster than a lot of other metropolitan cities. But I'll be telling you all about the numbers in the second video, where I tell you the breakdown of how much I'm projecting this property to make me over the next 5 years, how much I'm expecting to lose, gain, etc., etc. We'll talk about projection and numbers and history of numbers and comparables and all that fun jazzy stuff, rental income, etc., etc. But yes, that's essentially why I feel really confident about my decision to purchase a home in this market. And I want to get into the difference between an apartment and a condo in this video, because I know in the States, which is where majority of my audience is from, shout out to my Americans, ow, hey. In the States, a lot of luxury high-rises at that are apartment buildings, meaning it's owned by one management company, and then every single person who lives in that apartment complex rents from the management company. Whereas in Toronto here, majority of the high-rises are privately owned condo buildings, meaning every single unit is privately owned by owners. It could be one person, a family, 3 people, like brothers, whatever, but it's privately owned. And so there is a mixture of both owners and tenants who live in the building, because the tenants rent from owners, which is essentially what I plan to be doing with this property once I'm done living in it. So right now I desire to live in the home that I bought because I can customize it the way that I want to. I can paint, I can change the floors, I can change faucets, handles, I can do whatever whatever I want to this home as long as it's not structural because I own it. Now, when I decide I no longer want to live here, I can lease it out to tenants as well. And that's the way it works in this entire building. There is no way to rent from the property managers of the building or the rental company of the building because it doesn't exist. We do have a project management company, but they're essentially the people who take care of, vacuuming the hallways every day or making sure that the pool is clean and we have fun activities to do around Christmas or Valentine's Day and stuff like that. They're essentially in charge of the maintenance of the building, but not rental applications or anything like that. And that's one of the main reasons why I love living in a luxury high-rise in Toronto, is because it's maintained so well, because there are people who live in the building who are so invested in the building, both literally and figuratively invested. Like, you should see our Facebook group. I don't even want to go in, but there are some people on there that are so passionate about keeping the building clean and neat and maintained well. And although I don't have the energy to, care about these kind of things, I appreciate the people who do have the energy, because it just helps to keep the building maintained well and keeps it a safe place for me to live, for others to live. It's a good time. It's a very, very good time. And so that is essentially it on the details regarding my latest investment property that I bought for myself for my birthday. Shout outs to God for making this very possible. I really appreciate you sitting through this very long video, very long-winded video. But like I said, when it comes to real estate, I can really talk my face off. And we talk a lot on this channel about making money online and side hustles and managing your money properly. Listen, it's all fun and games to make hot girl money and to acquire some of this online money, because it is really no joke. And it doesn't even have to be an online entrepreneur, an influencer. My girlies who are working their corporate jobs, my corporate queens, honey, yes. I have some videos about corporate life on this channel as well. And I know that there are multiple different ways to get that money, but getting rich is not the end of the equation. Yes, making money is great, but being rich and being wealthy are two different things. And what we want to do when we acquire this money is to buy income producing assets that essentially become generational wealth. Because you cannot live off of Louis Vuitton bags and Gucci flip-flops in your 50s, okay? We have to think long-term. The name of the game is long haul, and it's okay to make some sacrifices now that you're gonna benefit from in the future, that we can also pass down to future generations or to our loved ones, that are going to set them up and kind of make their lives just a little bit easier, give them a little bit of a head start when it comes to financial independence. So I hope that video was insightful, educational, inspirational, motivational, all the O's, everything for you. I love you guys so, so, so much. Let me know if you have any comments, any questions, any concerns. I'd love to get the conversation popping. I love you so, so, so much. Thank you once again for making it to the end of the video. You are the real MVP. You really listened to me chat here. I appreciate you. I love you so, so, so much. Love you to the moon and back. Future to you. Mwah. Bye.